Ballin' Man, Ballin' Man, podcast, Ballin' Man, podcast, Ballin' Man, podcast, Ballin' Man, podcast. One day, the Ballin' Man podcast won't just be me, and one day, the Ballin' Man podcast might be hosted by someone completely different entirely, and they might support a different team, and they'll be welcome to celebrate like this if their team wins the league. But for now, I'm the host, and for now, we are celebrating being champions, champions. Ole, ole, ole. Champions, champions. Ole, ole, ole. I'll never get bored. I'll never get bored. I've got a whole summer of this. Welcome to the Born and Man podcast, episode 4. Are we in episode 4? I've forgotten already. Normally podcasts wait until they're in the hundreds before they start forgetting what episode they're on. I think I'm on 4. That's bad, isn't it? I think I'm on 5 actually. If it's 5, then we should do a little celebration. I mean, we're celebrating anyway, so a double celebration. And a double it might be, but we'll come on to that in a second. But welcome to the Ball and Mad podcast. I'm your host, Remy, and as you are probably aware, Arsenal are the Premier League champions. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's been so long. People have said 22 years many times, and that is true. But not just the 22 years that we've had to wait and since our last Premier League trophy, but it's more so been the anticipation of this Premier League win that has felt almost like it spanned about 4 years. And I think it's been 22 years, yes, but the last few years have kind of been excruciating, and so much doubt, so much emotion has gone into our thinking in the past year or two, especially. You know, many people have been vocal about their identification of certain problems within the team, me being one of them, and certain things that I don't think disappear overnight now that we've won, but certainly I don't care about any deficiencies of the players, of the manager. I am so happy. Honestly, so happy. It's been the best feeling. Tuesday night was incredible. One of the best days of my life, for sure. Just being part of that crowd and watching the end of the game through the window of a pub by Highway Islington Station, and the roller coaster of emotions that it was even on that night. I mean, a lot of people did set off early, and I was one of them. As soon as Krupi scored for Bournemouth, I was like, Marianne, get ready, we're going out. So yeah, I was on the train listening to the game on the radio. Second half sounded like end to end, and I just couldn't believe that it was happening. And then we caught the last bit of the game, the extra time, and maybe the last like 5 minutes of the normal time. And then when Haaland scored, like before Haaland scored, we were singing. It was it was great. It was almost as if we'd already won, considering there was like 10 minutes left. But when Haaland scored, it was silent. And for a few seconds, I think we all felt what many of us have felt year after year, and manager after manager, under Wenger, under Emery, that feeling of like the Baku 5-1 loss, the 8-2, the Man City when they destroyed us and Rob Holding winked. Like, so many moments where it's just like... And when Haaland scored, I think that kind of activated a bit of the trauma. But the fact that then only a matter of seconds after that feeling, we felt the most beautiful, blissful wave of emotion and happiness that I think a lot of us have ever felt in our football following lives. And yeah, then the atmosphere from that moment on was just something like I'd never seen before. Heading down to the Emirates, and just the songs and the hugs and the cars beeping and the fireworks, and it was incredible. It was incredible. And everyone's spoken about how organic it was, and yeah, it was organic, but I do feel like it was something like innate within all of us. You know, there was no plans to do this. I mean, I did mention to a few of my friends, like, guys, like, you know, if we win the league, I'm going out, and everyone was like, yeah, but no one had made plans and whatever. And even if you tried to make plans while you're there, it was hard. There was no phone signal. That's how many people there were. But it just did. It felt like, you know how bees or some animals have this like hardwired like center point where they all just kind of gravitate towards, like the queen bee or the, you know, the hive or whatever. It just felt like Arsenal fans just had something in them just attracting them to the Emirates at that moment. Yeah, beautiful. Honestly, beautiful. I'm so happy, and I'm so glad that we didn't have to go to the last day as well, because especially having seen all of the scenes with the Arsenal team watching the game and stuff like that, I'm not sure we would have all been able to have made it through if it had to come to the last day where we needed to win in order to win the league. So, knowing Arsenal as well as I do, I'm glad that I'm honestly glad that it didn't have to go to the last day, because I love Arsenal, but I know Arsenal, and yeah, I'm just glad it didn't have to come to that. But yeah, now looking forward to that Champions League, and I think with the weight lifted off our shoulders, who knows? Going into a game where many already predict us to lose, PSG are definitely the favourites. Weight off our shoulders in a way that we've never felt before, with support like we've never felt before. I don't know. If this isn't the time to believe in something really special, then I don't know when is. And I am looking forward to that Champions League final now, and I want to know where you're going to be for the final. I haven't made plans yet. Let's maybe make some plans, or if you got a screening, invite me, or let's organize something. I don't know, but I really want to do something together with a bunch of people, because I think it will be special. Win or lose, anyway. I think it's going to be a great game, and people are writing us off. People were writing us off, and I don't really like the narrative that our attack is just completely like null and void. Everyone's always, and I've noticed a few managers and stuff have been in their congratulations very, very sly in what they're saying. They're like, oh yeah, Arsenal great team, yeah, their defense is great, but yeah, I think our attack is very functional, and people are being a bit dishonest. Even myself, as someone who's been critical of our attack this season, a bit dishonest in how they talk about Arsenal's attacking play, because for large parts of the season, players have been injured, and we've tried to figure out the best combination, and it takes time. But Odegaard was injured, then Eze came into the team, and we started playing well. Then Odegaard came back, and then Eze kind of fell out of favour after that mistake against Villa, and then Saka was injured at this point, or was he playing? I don't know, but Saka was having the best season, and that happens. But and I know hindsight is crazy as well, but I saw a Victor Gyökeres goal catalogue from this season, and I was like, can't lie, this guy's he's been bagging, he's been bagging. I can't lie, and yeah, like I don't know. I think the Arsenal conversations around our attack have been a bit skewed to fit a narrative, and if PSG and the world are underestimating Arsenal's attack going into the final, maybe that will suit us, because I think Victor York in the Champions League has been very prolific, and on his day is crazy. And I think he's the most like Pacho and Marquinhos or whoever it is at the back might not know what hits them if Victor York is forearming them, elbowing them, body checking them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think those players have encountered a team like Arsenal this season. Harry Kane's good, Diaz is good, Elise is good, but the intensity of Victor Gyökeres and a confident shackles off Bukayo Saka and Trossard, divorced Trossard. Hey, actually, you know what? I'm taking the time out of this podcast to give a special shout out to Leandro Trossard. because I feel like in this run-in, I have been very impressed by our forwards, and that is what I want to say about this whole attack thing as well, because our forwards have actually been very good for us in this crunch period, bar the final and the game against Man City, which, by the way, Havertz did score in. I think Havertz, Gyökeres, and Trossard have really stepped up, and especially Trossard. I feel like he has kind of just been the man to give the ball to, making stuff happen. His shot against Atleti saw us get the win from the Bukayo Saka rebound. He, against West Ham, obviously his goal and incredible finish there, but he was just always the one that looked like he was going to create something or do something. Again, against Burnley, I think he hit the post, and similarly had a good game. Leandro Trossard, yeah. And to think that we only signed him because we didn't get Mudryk as well. Imagine Mudryk in this running. If Mudryk was banned for doping while he was in the running for the Premier League, that would be crazy. But he wouldn't have even got the doping thing because he'd be at Arsenal. And I actually think Mudryk would have been way better than what he was at Chelsea. But yeah, Trossard, I guess it all works out. I saw Palace fans saying, we should never invite Ian Wright to the club again, and people are upset that Ian Wright is happy that Arsenal won the league and celebrating. It's like, yes, he might have supported you, he might have played for you, he might have supported West Ham as a kid, but he's an Arsenal legend and clearly is an Arsenal fan. Clearly he's a massive spokesman for Arsenal. What are people talking about? People are just hating on Arsenal. I saw people saying that Arsenal fans are embarrassing because they don't want to drink cans of beer, or they're embarrassing because they're dancing, or they're annoying because they're happy and celebrating, even though their team didn't play on the day. It's so funny because most Arsenal fans couldn't care less about what people are saying right now. And yeah, just cry, I guess. But we are seeing, and I think some other fans are seeing, there is definitely, and as we've been saying for a long time, and I've been saying for a long time, there is a racialized element to it. And I think while people might now acknowledge that there are some, cultural differences when it comes to our fan bases, let's say from fans of teams from Liverpool or Manchester, compared to London clubs, but then even then compared to, from Chelsea to Arsenal, there's a difference there. So it's not just about the racialized element. It's also to do with the identity of the club and, perceived identity maybe sometimes. I saw a lot of Chelsea fans saying, because this whole week has kind of caused a discussion around, what it means to be a fan of Arsenal, a fan from London, etc. So Chelsea fans are saying, well, they don't really like the fact that Arsenal fans, and again, I am one of these people, like have a dig at black Chelsea fans for supporting Chelsea over Arsenal. And they say, oh yeah, but, Chelsea have a wonderful list of legendary black players like Drogba and Essien and Makelele, and I totally hear it, but representation is not the same as identity. What I'm trying to say, I think, is that just because there are black players at a certain club or team, what should attract you to become a fan of a team is not just about representation in terms of, do the players look like me, but what does the club feel like? What is the community like? What are our club's values like? What's our club culture like? And ultimately, the truth is, when I say I don't like black Chelsea fans, it's not necessarily just about, oh yeah, Chelsea fans are racist, or the guy on the metro in Paris said you didn't let him on a train, or it's not just that. It's more just like when you grew up and you looked into the world and you saw communities, football communities, fans, you chose Chelsea, you chose Slytherin, you chose the people that won at all costs, the people that were happy to buy the league and would proudly sing about Roman Abramovich. That was your culture. You didn't care. Sack the manager. You didn't get another one. Sack the manager. You didn't care. As long as we win. That was Chelsea. Fine. But that was the path you chose. And I think for so long, they were always justified because, well, Arsenal didn't win. Arsenal haven't won. You guys are ballers. Oh, yeah, Arsenal. If you chose to be a Chelsea fan because you didn't believe that this would happen, I don't even wish badly on black Chelsea fans. And they can come to the parade. Everyone can come to the parade. I don't really care. New fans, old fans, rival fans, come to the parade, dance, sing, drink, be merry. But just remember why everyone is there. And remember, in a year's time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, just how massive we are and how loved we are. We are Arsenal Football Club. Yeah, okay. So back on the format now. I think I do like this format of just going through my Twitter likes, because now my feed is pretty much football politics. So, right, there's so many things I want to touch on. I think there's a lot of talk about sports washing at the moment, with Pep Guardiola leaving Man City. People are talking about his legacy, how great he is. And yeah, he is definitely one of, if not the best manager of all time. However, many people have pointed out that his legacy is now intertwined with allegations of sports washing and human rights abuse, linked with the state that owns Man City, and also the 115, maybe more, charges of financial irregularities, shall we say. So sports washing has come up there, but also Rio Ferdinand has been accused of sports washing after going on a government visit to Tanzania, hosted by a minister who he called his good friend, who has been sanctioned by the USA for gross violations of human rights. How does football and politics always seem to find themselves in these compromising positions? Hey, and they say keep politics out of football. I told you, we can't do it. They said the birth rate is declining. Well, good thing that Arsenal won the league, because we got you. Trust me, babies are going to be made this month. If we win the Champions League, oh my gosh, how many little baby Bakayos are going to be running around? White kids, blonde, blue eyes, called Bakayo. Crazy. You think it's a game? If Arsenal win the Champions League, and even now, don't get me wrong, even now already, some buns are in the oven. But I'm telling you, if Arsenal win the Champions League, it's going to be crazy. The black men called Arshavin are going to meet the white kids called Bakayo and create world peace. Literally, that is what Arsenal is. Arsenal is unity. This is a demonstration of who we are. When we say culture club, when we say club of the people, this is what we mean. This is what we mean. Last thing about Arsenal winning the league that I want to touch on is, has anyone thought about what it is that unites Osama bin Laden, Keir Starmer, Jeremy Corbyn, Piers Morgan, me, you, all of the guys that your girlfriend used to like before she met you? What unites all of these people? What is it about Arsenal that attracted all of these different people to the same club? And I've had a lot of talk about Arsenal being a middle class club and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, how does that perception exist? And I understand why it does. And we can go back as far as, the fact that the affiliation of Arsenal with the Royal Armoury and the Royals, and I think the Queen supported Arsenal. And there's that tie. But also, I understand that as Arsenal became popular over the years, then that attracted a certain class of people, and its location within London also helped in that. And then as Arsenal became more of an intercontinental club and had the French influence, and it was seen as this like foreign future forward club, that attracted again a new wave of hipster yuppie supporters. I understand that thing. When it comes to the conversation around Arsenal fans in the modern day and their perception now, I think, how can both be true? How can we be the AFT, Obama blood clot, Yang club, but also be the middle class club. Like, that doesn't make sense. They're two different things. Are we both? Yes, because we are massive and we are a lot of things. And to paint a club with just one portion of its fan base is silly. But what you can't do is pick and choose which portion of the fan base you hate today. Do you know what I mean? Are we a middle class club, or are we too black to not drink outside the stadium? Like, which one is it, right? I guess you just hate Arsenal, but I don't know. So many things unite us, and what unites us is taste. Honestly, taste, an eye for something intangible. I can't describe it, and it's so Arsene Wenger. Like, if you've watched Arsene Wenger's teams, especially the teams in the Emirates post Henri, like the like 2008 to 2011 maybe, that era typifies my love for Arsenal. And those teams didn't win anything, right? But it was the magic of the beauty of football, and everyone always spoke about how boring the Emirates was and it was a library. But those Champions League nights, even through the screen on free ITV, free to air Champions League coverage on ITV, you could feel the energy. Clive Tildesley on commentary. It's just beautiful. The Arshavin moment, to me, when Arsenal signed Ozil as well, like, so many moments to me as an Arsenal fan stick out. The FA Cup final against Hull, I remember watching it in our day room at school, and I think I might have been one of the few Arsenal fans there, maybe a couple of other people there, but I was with Chelsea fans and United fans, and when we went 2-0 down, just like, but then we won, and it was kind of what I felt like on Tuesday, but nah, Tuesday was beautiful, and being with everyone was just amazing. Anyway, I don't want to gush about that again. What was I saying? Yeah, what unites all of these people? Men, women, children, politicians, actors, sports stars, rappers. What attracts all these people to Arsenal? Why is it always Arsenal? Why is Anne Hathaway? Why is Kim Kardashian? Why is Fretch 32? Why is, like, Ocho Cinco? If you don't get it now, then you never will. And maybe it's for the best that you don't support Arsenal or don't like football. Honestly, that's what I can say. That's all I can say. African presidents took to social media to welcome Arsenal's first English Premier League title in more than 2 decades, tapping into the club's vast fan base across the continent. And yeah, that is also an amazing thing to see. I was at the Emirates on Tuesday, but I know that Arsenal has fans all over the world that couldn't just walk out their house and come to the Emirates. But the fact that they went out of their house and met up with other fans in their town, in their area, in their city, it was so beautiful to see. And we truly are an amazing fan base. I know we get a lot of stick sometimes, but Nights Like Tuesday made me so proud to be an Arsenal fan. And yeah, it was wonderful. Wonderful. And even now, I can't even really articulate how I feel, because the feeling is so fresh. Like, honestly, it's fresh. So Liverpool dropped their new kit this week, and someone made a tweet. They were at the club shop, and they said the shop was absolutely empty for the new kit launch. DHgate has ruined the game, with a sick and laughing emoji. And it's an interesting thought. There would be a time where, on release day of a club kit, the club shop will be rammed. Everyone getting their shirt printed, etc. But nowadays, the shirts cost amounts of money that normal families can't just afford to throw around, especially if they've got 2 or more kids. You got to get each kid a shirt. Adds up. It's now much more appealing to go on DHgate and sort the whole family out for 25 quid. Names, customizations and all. It's a no-brainer. Fans, families, everyday working people have been forgotten about by the top table of the football industry, and their participation within the football ecosystem, buying tickets, buying shirts, has been largely taken for granted. As we go into the World Cup and we've seen with the prices on tickets there, it's insane. And it's the expectation that no matter what the price is, fans will buy it. But there will be a point, which I think we are now reaching when it comes to football kits, and especially with the number of kits that they release each season and how little the kits actually change in design, especially the home kit. It's a no-brainer that people will ultimately choose to buy replica shirts online than pay £120 for a shirt that would then be replaced next season for £130 shirt. People are not rich. People are not rich. We already know that there has been a cost of living crisis and has been a cost of living crisis for 5 years now. What is going on? Why is no one saying, hold on, why not do a 2-year kit release and subsidize it for like low income people and do a push around that? Then you can get every single person in the shirt for a whole year. Do you know how mad that would be? Like, I don't know. I think they should really think about, I think clubs and football, FIFA, UEFA, whoever it is, should really think about access to football and the pricing out of a number of people due to how expensive everything is becoming. Otherwise, I don't see it being sustainable. And you can't crack down on fake shirt manufacturers and sellers without providing an alternative to people to get their hands on the proper shirts. It shouldn't cost more than a week's shopping to buy a football shirt. Do you know what I mean? And like, even with food prices being as insane as they are, these shirts now do cost as much as feeding your family for a week. And that's the trade-off sometimes. Food or luxuries. And people can't afford these luxuries. And at the prices that they are, these football items, whether it be the new collab kit launch with Arsenal and some brand, or the new away kit or the 30 kit or the home kit, it's just like so many kits, and they're all £85 for the replica. Also, that was also something that I wanted to bring up. I was looking at Arsenal shirts the other day, or looking at football shirts the other day, and I was like, since when did football clubs and like actual retailers start calling the shirts that you could buy replicas and then selling you another one for even more as like the player version? When did that become a thing? Because when I was younger, it was a shirt or it wasn't a shirt, and it was a replica shirt if it was not a real one. And then like they're basically telling you, like, this ain't the real shirt that the players wear, but if you want that one, then here's an extra price. It feels like we're being scammed. And I hate being scammed. So that's why my perspective on this has changed a lot. I'm on the side of the people, that's for sure. The England squad is out, and for a lot of people, it's caused a stir. And everyone has certain omissions that they think are crazy. For me, it's Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't get how he hasn't been picked. He's probably the most informed player, attacking player that England have at the moment, bar maybe Kane. So I don't get what he was picking players off, form. I don't know. Henderson being in the squad also raises a lot of eyebrows to me, because he cannot play at the level required, surely, if we want to be this elite team and win the competition. So I'm not sure, if he's not there to play, then that's really unfair on players that I think could then make an impact on the pitch. And after the season he had, I think Morgan Gibbs-White could have been a massive wild card at this tournament and really announce himself on the national global stage. And that's where I think Thomas Tuchel has done something that I think Southgate wouldn't have done. I think Southgate's team would have been very different. I think a lot of the names that people are speaking about would have been in the squad. And I think there will be now less tension going into the tournament. And that's the difference between Southgate and Tuchel. A couple of weeks ago, we had the pleasure of being invited to a premiere for an upcoming TV show on BBC iPlayer called Dear England. Now, Dear England is an adaptation of a theatre production that centered around Gareth Southgate and his role in reshaping the culture in the England men's national team. And it goes through the highs and lows of him getting the job and taking us to the point in which he left. I'm sure you all know the story of Gareth Southgate and England's successes or nearly successes at recent tournaments. So yeah, it was a great smash theatre production, and it's now been made into a BBC series. And I got to watch episode 1. It's really good, and it kind of breaks down what Gareth Southgate saw in the England squad and knew what he had to fix and how he fixed it, and how it got the results that it got. And I think the country being behind the team, behind the 11 players on the pitch, but also just the wives, the coaches, the culture around England, Gareth Southgate did so well to kind of get everyone on side nationally that I think Tuchel may take for granted as a German, as a foreign manager coming in. He might not understand certain things. And I do think that him not picking Palmer, him not picking Lewis Hall. But again, I'm also thinking maybe Tuchel is right that he shouldn't be picking players based on anything other than what he wants his players to do on the pitch. And that is why with Tuchel, while his squad might raise a few eyebrows, I am just going to wait and see, because I do rate Thomas Tuchel's source as a coach. And if he can get Chelsea to win the Champions League in the way he did with the team that he did it with, he can definitely get this England team to win the World Cup. So that's why I just got to let him cook. But as soon as I don't like what he's cooking, then I'll say something. But for now, it's not Southgate on a culture side. But let's see if it's not Southgate in a positive way on the pitch. Yeah. But anyway, Dear England, go check it out because it's actually really good. If football finally does come home this year, even if it is Thomas Tuchel that wins them the World Cup, it will be Gareth Southgate that played a massive part in that and getting people on side. I just think that already I'm beginning to see the unravelings of a lot of what Southgate had worked so hard to build when it comes to the way that the media and people saw the England national team and the players. But yeah, surely everyone's got to back Arsenal to win Champions League. If you had Saka, Eze, Madueke, Rice all going into the tournament, the World Cup, as Premier League and Champions League winners, that's serious. That's real serious. That's real serious. If Madueke wins the Premier League, the Champions League, and the World Cup all in 1 year, I'm putting him in conversations that they might have to section me for, like untouchable status. Money Madueke, in terms of dribbling, 1v1 dribbling conversations. Declan Rice, all-time midfielder conversations. Eze, best 10 of all-time conversations. Yeah, Dear England, go check it out. It was great to see. Yeah, invite me to any football industry events, please. I'll make videos about it. I'm a good chap, and yeah. Going back to one of our first episodes and that whole Vinny Jr. racism incident in the game against Benfica, well, as fate will have it, Jose Mourinho, who backed his own player against Vinny Jr. and was talking about Eusebio and all that nonsense, is now the manager of Real Madrid, managing none other than Vinny Jr. So What's going to happen there? How can Mourinho look Vinny Jr. in the eyes, knowing that just a few months ago he was snaking him out on a very, very low level? Like, because Mourinho knew what he was doing. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how that can be mended, if I'm honest with you. And, Vinny Jr., I'm sure, and many players, I'm sure, will be looking at this appointment a bit funny. So yeah, I don't expect the Real Madrid situation to get any better with Mourinho. I can't lie. But yeah, what is Perez doing, man? What are Madrid doing? I can't lie. I do think that Arsenal beating Real Madrid set in motion all of these events. Obviously, they had their own issues with the manager and stuff like that, but I think losing to Arsenal really like sent them on a downward spiral because in their heads they were so much superior than Arsenal, and we just like had to bring them down to reality. I was like, no, you guys are just not ready for the elite level at this moment in time. Speaking of Arsenal winning the league and being in the Champions League final, for the first time ever, the Champions League final will not be free to air in the UK. That means that if you do not pay for a particular service, you cannot watch the biggest game in European football this season. What a shame, especially because Arsenal are playing in the Champions League final, and I do believe that Arsenal are going to win the Champions League final. So imagine if an Arsenal fan somewhere, because of a lack of financial means, couldn't watch his team play in that game and win that game and share that moment. That's so sad, because I think these people making decisions about money and contracts and rights never consider that child who hasn't got control over what his parents pay for, what they do for a living, how much money they have in the bank. He can't tell his mum, who's struggling, to feed him, to pay for Paramount Plus or TNT Sports or Sky Sports. All he has is the channels on his Freeview TV. And if he can't watch the Champions League final, that is a travesty. Pubs and stuff will be open. But I hope that a lot of other spaces are also open for families and children to watch as well. Because I don't think people have considered that. Not everyone has these services, especially like a family. I'm thinking of a family with small children. They might not have the TNT Sports package. So on the day, and they might not even be aware that it's not free to air until the day of. And when they go to watch it on their TV, they can't find it. I think it's so sad. When people just really think about the people going to be affected by this, it's just wrong. And football needs to change. So L'Equipe, the big French news outlet, released a tweet a few days ago that really caught my eye. It goes, after Carvajal and Buffon, the far right has now found a symbol in England with John Terry, while awaiting support in France. Now, as tweets go, I'd never been more interested in a tweet in my life, so I clicked the link and I had a little read. Had the press translate because obviously it's in French, and it details how John Terry, the icon who became a symbol, it speaks about Chelsea icon John Terry, the icon who became a symbol of the extreme right in England. Okay, I did see a few things about him liking a few Rupert Lowe tweets or something, but I didn't know that was real. And I know obviously about John Terry and his history, Anton Ferdinand and whatever. And as I said earlier about the Black Chelsea fans, it's like someone doesn't need to be racist to give you a racist vibe. And that's what I get with John Terry and Chelsea. Like, you're telling me you can't feel the vibe over there? You're telling me there's not a vibe you can feel over there? Okay. And that's why I side eye the Black Chelsea fans. It's not because there's anything that you've done. It's like, You're okay with this being your guy? Like you're okay with that? Like you're okay with that stamp? Like you're okay with John Terry being a symbol of the far right, and that's your club legend, that's your guy, captain, leader, legend. Like, okay, I don't know, I don't know. That's my last bit on Black Chelsea fans, innit? Like, you can't lie to me and tell me you don't feel an uncomfortable vibe compared to us, where we're just having vibey vibes. Do you know what I mean? And it's about time. But yeah, we're having a vibe now. Anyway, anywho, scrolling on my timeline on any social platform this week has been a joy. With Arsenal winning the league, so many great tweets, so many throwbacks as well that people are bringing up. This classic, sorry men, take this foot. Sorry, men take this football thing too far. There's a black boy in my year one class called Arshavin. I'm telling you, there's going to be kids called Bakayo with blonde hair, blue eyes. There's going to be so many children in Nigeria born with the name Declan, and they're going to wonder in about 100 years' time, what happened? What? And it'll be because Arsenal won the Premier League in 2026. It's crazy. It's crazy. Touching on some politics stuff, Andy Burnham is launching his bid to become the Prime Minister by way of the by-election in his local area, where he's now running to be the candidate for the Labour Party. And already with Andy Burnham, we're already seeing how football is going to feature within his narrative and story. You know, he's already speaking about being a Everton season ticket holder and going on a run in a football shirt. These things are intentional. These things are clever, and these things will work in creating an image that is suitable for the people that he is trying to reach. The people he is trying to reach are the same people that Nigel Farage was trying to reach when he was at Portman Road, when he released the Reform FC t-shirt. It's smart. It's politics. Football is politics. We can't keep politics out of football. Wake up. Shout out to my guy Zoran Mamdani. Arsenal fans, we up worldwide. But New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani has announced their initiative called Neighborhood Passport, taking place in New York during the World Cup. It's designed to help New Yorkers and visitors experience the 5 boroughs via immigrant neighborhoods, cultural institutions, and small businesses. This guy, what can I say? Arsenal fan, eh? And yeah, Mamdani has announced that it's the summer of soccer, and he's happy about Arsenal winning the league, and has announced $50 tickets available for 1,000 New Yorkers. Now, 1,000 is not much, but it's something. It's clear that he wants to try and help the people of New York enjoy this World Cup and enjoy football. And that can only really come from a true football fan. And I'm happy for him as a fellow Arsenal fan, and as the mayor of New York City, he has the power to spread that happiness and that joy to others. And that's the beauty of football. So yeah, I'm happy. And it's a great video as well. But yeah, New York's going to be lit. New York is going to be so lit during the World Cup. They got a free Pink Panthers, Larry June, Home of Soccer, New York Adidas party. That looks so lit. Zidane's going to be there. Bonmati's going to be there. Marcelo's going to be there. Kaká, Pogba. Yo, this is crazy. We need some events in London, please. Adidas, Nike, anyone, please shout me. I need to get that email sorted. Ball and man, please, we want to be there, covering it on the ground, interviewing people. I'll get worksy. But no, this looks so fun. I think New York's going to be probably the best vibe for the World Cup. Can't lie. And speaking of the mayor of New York, the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, this week blocked a £50 million Met Police deal with Palantir, citing a clear and serious breach of procurement rules. Hey, when national politics is looking a bit shaky, the local mayors kind of got our back, man. The local mayors always seem to be doing certain things that you just gotta nod your head. Jeremy Corbyn tabled a motion in Parliament to congratulate Arsenal on winning the Premier League. He said that this house extends its warmest congratulations to Arsenal Football Club for winning the Premier League after 22 years. Celebrates the incredible contribution made by every player in the team. Commends the captaincy and leadership of Martin Odegaard. Further celebrates Max Diamond as the youngest person to ever win the Premier League. Recognises the work that goes on behind the scenes by cleaning staff, coaches, caterers, kit managers, both present and former, and all of those who made this possible. Applauds the support of Arsenal fans across the city and country. Thanks to the work of Arsenal in the community in delivering social and education programs to young people. Wishes the team success in the Champions League final. Further congratulates Arsenal Women's Football Club for their historic victory in this year's FIFA Women's Champions Cup and acknowledges what an unbelievable achievement this is for everyone involved at Arsenal Football Club. Jeremy, I couldn't have said it better myself. Congrats to us all. Yeah. What am I saying now? What am I saying now? Yeah, Arsenal freestyle. I got my gunners in the back. Hairline pushed back like Shamak. You know where it's at. I got my balls in the